All right, let's kick off this deep dive. Today, we're heading to South Africa. We've got a bunch of travel stuff, articles, recommendations, even some buzz from social media, all pointing to amazing experiences waiting for us over there.
Yeah, it's really cool. South Africa's got that history and culture and then the natural beauty on top of it all. It's like you can journey through time, immerse yourself in different traditions, and see these breathtaking landscapes all in one trip.
Totally. And I think one place that really shows that is Robben Island,
Yeah.
where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned. It's not just historical, right? It's like a symbol of resilience, the human spirit, that sort of thing.
For sure. It's powerful. Visiting the actual prison, seeing that tiny cell, it connects you to his struggle and the fight against apartheid.
Oh, yeah. The newsletter we've got here, it says Robben Island's a must visit. And not just for the history. They say you can see African penguins there, Cape Fur seals, even birds that are only found on the island.
It's kind of wild how nature's taken over this place that was once all about oppression. It shows you how time heals and how resilient the land and people are.
Speaking of wild,
Yeah.
did you see that social media post? They're saying you can see penguins jumping from rock to rock in South Africa.
Huh? Those little surprises are what make travel so great. Never know what you'll find. And that's what makes a place like South Africa so captivating. Always something unexpected waiting around the corner.
Okay, so let's head north now to Limpopo province. Our newsletter says it's got this rich cultural heritage, talking about the Venda and Sangha communities. They've been there for centuries.
Limpopo's your chance to really dive into the cultural side of South Africa. Imagine visiting a traditional Venda village, seeing their architecture and crafts, learning about Sangha music and dance. It's like connecting with living history.
And of course, we can't forget Kruger National Park. It's got to be one of the most famous safari spots in the world, right? Home to the Big Five,
Yeah.
lions, elephants, leopards, the whole deal.
Kruger is the real deal. It's not just ticking off animals on a list. It's about seeing nature's beauty and power up close. It changes you.
But Limpopo's not just about the big game. The Selpansberg mountain range sounds amazing. Too perfect for hiking, bird watching. They say the views are incredible.
Exactly. That's the thing about South Africa. It's got something for everyone. Adventure, culture, peace, and quiet. You name it.
Oh, and get this, I saw something in the Around the Web section about this Long March to Freedom exhibition. It's got 100 life-size bronze sculptures of all these South African liberation heroes, including Nelson Mandela, of course.
The detail on them is incredible. Each sculpture captures not just what they look like, but their spirit, their determination. Like Helen Sisman, she was the only one speaking out against apartheid in Parliament for years. Her courage comes through so strongly in the bronze. It's amazing how one person can have such an impact.
Yeah, it really makes you think how art can connect us like that.
Hmm.
But for people who want something a little more, thrilling, the Around the Web section also mentioned ziplining near Table Mountain.
Can you imagine flying through the air with those views of Cape Town and the ocean? That's got to be something else.
And for something a bit more relaxed, what about exploring the Durbanville Wine Valley? It's not far from Cape Town, and it's got these beautiful vineyards, great wines, and all those charming wine estates.
Wine tasting in South Africa is different. It's not just the wine, it's the history and culture, too. A lot of these vineyards have been in the same family for generations. They're really passionate about sharing their stories.
Oh, and if you want a real nature escape, Around the Web had this recommendation for Finfoot Lake Reserve. It's like a hidden gem tucked away in the Western Cape. They say it's got this peaceful lake, tons of birds, and nice walking trails.
Sounds perfect for getting away from it all and just enjoying nature kayaking on the lake, surrounded by nothing but birds and the wind in the trees. It's good for the soul.
So many different things to do. And we haven't even talked about the food. Remember that article, South African Food You Will Love?
Oh, yeah, the culinary adventure. I've got to admit, I'm curious about those walkie-talkies they mentioned grilled chicken feet.
Definitely for the adventurous eaters.
Yeah.
But it shows you how diverse South African cuisine is. You've got those indigenous traditions mixed with European and Asian influences. You can have a braai, try Cape Malay curries, or all sorts of amazing seafood.
Food's such a big part of experiencing a new culture, and South Africa's got that covered for sure. It's a mix of flavors, just like the country itself.
Before we move on, there's one piece of advice from the newsletter that we should definitely mention. They really emphasize booking things in advance, especially if you're going during tourist season.
Oh, absolutely. South Africa is a popular place. You don't want to miss out on those once-in-a-lifetime things just because you didn't plan ahead.
Right, like they say failing to plan is planning to fail, especially when it comes to things like safari lodges, tours, even getting a table at a good restaurant.
So true. So as we wrap up our look at South Africa, what would you say is the main takeaway for our listeners?
I think it's that South Africa is more than just a destination. It's like a whole collection of experiences that you can make your own. It challenges you, inspires you. It really stays with you.
Well said. It's about embracing the diversity, the history, the natural beauty, all of it.
And finding what speaks to you personally, what makes you curious, what creates those memories that you'll always remember.
Exactly. So, as our listeners think about their own South African adventure, what's one question we can leave them with?
That's a good one. What about this? Beyond the famous places and the usual tourist routes, what hidden gems will you discover to make your trip unique and memorable?
What will your story be? I love that. We hope this deep dive has sparked some ideas and gotten everyone excited to explore South Africa for themselves.
Absolutely. And until next time, happy travels, everyone.